Introducing the new XO-300 machine gun. I'll discuss its capabilities and limitations as well as suggest some potential improvements for this machine gun, so make sure to stay tuned for that part because it should be interesting. Firstly, this gun can be used both as a regular machine gun and as a turret. For example, you can walk around with it like a normal machine gun and then set it down to use it as a turret. This ability gives the gun its uniqueness from all the other guns. I'm particularly pleased that the damage is reasonable and not excessive like that of a turret when the gun is sat down. Speaking of damage, I've upgraded the gun to 4 stars and it currently deals 260 damage. At 6 stars, the damage increases to 368, which is the second highest among all 3 machine guns. 66 machine gun beats all 3 for the most damage. The fire rate is astonishing as well, ranging from 459 to 527 with mods. The shots are rapid, so I don't recommend adding a fire rate mod. Surprisingly, even the injector doesn't seem to affect the gun's fire rate, as it maintains the same speed. It might be wise to fire at a slower rate to ensure better accuracy, as otherwise you might run out of bullets before hitting multiple marks. Additionally, the gun has melee damage, but personally I find it more enjoyable and amusing to eliminate enemies with the gun by tapping them. When the gun is mobile, its damage feels comparable to that of the rotogun. Although significantly lower, it can still get the job done, if you prefer to hold it and move around. However, I've noticed that it becomes more dangerous when the gun is stationary. Once you place it down, it switches from automatic shooting to manual operation. The animation of picking up and setting down the gun is quite satisfying, but this constant picking up and dropping it off does consume some time. To maintain effectiveness, you have to keep changing your position because the gun has a very limited viewing range. It can't turn too far to the left or right and feels more like a triangular field of view. I appreciate these limitations in this gun because it gives flaws, but I wish we could have at least a 180-degree view from the placement spot. And the constant picking up and dropping becomes problematic when facing rushing enemies. XO-300 machine gun's uniqueness when it's placed down gives the gun a physical button for shooting. This ability comes in handy for shooting in smoke, but the accuracy is almost non-existent when used by any operator other than Miro while shooting in smoke. However, if you position the gun on a flat surface where your enemies are concealed by smoke, your shots will have a better chance of hitting their mark. It's difficult to determine if it will actually kill your enemies since you can't see them clearly, but you might notice blood splattering from their bodies. The gun gives the impression that it can shoot across the map, and it does manage to land shots as long as you and the enemy are at the same level. This is where Diana becomes extremely useful for the XO-300 machine gun. Diana helps by revealing enemy positions on the map, allowing you to shoot at long distances where otherwise you'd be shooting blindly. Additionally, Diana assists in spotting Charon when he approaches you. Charon can be your greatest enemy when using this gun, especially without team support and Diana's assistance. I found myself dying numerous times due to Charon, because once the gun is stationary, you can't leave it. You have to switch back to mobile mode before being able to switch weapons, or even dash. I wish we could throw smart bombs while the gun is in the stationary position to help repel enemies. Alternatively, it would be great if we could leave the gun in a stationary position and dash away when we spot Charon, only relying on our secondary weapon. If we survive, we could then pick up the gun again. This would add a cool ability that enhances the gun's usefulness and strategic value. However, I also appreciate the limitations that prevent the gun from becoming too overpowering. By the way, when using the XO-300 machine gun in a stationary position, there are several formidable enemies to watch out for. Smart bomb, flash grenades, SMS, Charon, Diana, and rushing groups of enemies can pose significant challenges. While you can defend against some of these threats by equipping missile defense, dealing with SMS and Charon can be particularly annoying. They disrupt the enjoyment of maneuvering the gun around and carefully placing it in strategic locations. Also, when you are flashed, your shots will continue to shoot automatically, but you can't press any other buttons, and you will be like a sitting duck. Sometimes I found it cool to place the XO-300 machine gun behind barriers because it fit perfectly as if it was meant to be there. The gun is incredibly enjoyable when it functions properly, delivering high damage with its rapid fire. To make these shots truly deadly, the gun should ideally be upgraded to at least 5 stars. Currently at 4 stars, the bullets still hit enemies, but the impact is not as significant. I personally found using the gun in its stationary position more satisfying than using it in its mobile form due to the increased damage output. It's worth noting that the gun does not allow for friendly fire, which is a great feature, as it prevents accidentally harming our own allies instead of the enemies. When it comes to mods, I primarily focused on enhancing the XO-300 machine gun's performance. I found that the overheating mod was particularly useful as it allows for more shots to land on enemies before the gun needs to cool down. I also considered mods that improve cooldown speed and movement speed, which can contribute to overall efficiency. In addition, I prioritized the aim speed mod, as it helps in shooting first and gaining an advantage. I believe it could be beneficial even when manually shooting, although I'm uncertain if it affects the gun's speed in that mode. As for the third mod, initially I focused on Firerate, but I'm considering switching it to something else, such as movement speed, or further enhancing aim speed. I haven't made a final decision on this yet. Now, let's discuss what I wish the gun had, and one of the most important additions would be a shield. I think having a mod option for a shield would greatly enhance its potential, especially against flashers and SMS. If this gun could become the ultimate SMS killer, it would need a small shield in front. This addition could boost its effectiveness from 20% to at least 50%, addressing some minor issues when facing enemies. Secondly, I wish the gun had the ability to have a 180-degree viewing angle. Currently, I constantly find myself picking it up and dropping it down to readjust its placement. However, having this limitation might actually be a good thing, as it adds some flaws and challenges to the gun's design. Thirdly, when the gun is in its stationary position, I wish we could leave it at a spot and step away, only relying on our secondary weapon. This would eliminate the possibility of dying from Charon. We could dash away and try to survive, which sounds like a fun and intriguing possibility if it can be implemented. In conclusion, I believe the XO-300 machine gun has a lot of potential, but it's definitely a support weapon meant to assist your team. In my experience, I ended up with more assists than kills. Admittedly, my performance in games with this gun was quite poor, and I even questioned my own skills in existence at times. This gun may not be suitable for everyone, but it does provide a fun experience when constantly moving it around and setting it down. Currently, my gun is at 4 stars, and even at this level it proves to be quite dangerous when in the stationary position. I can only imagine how much more useful it will become when upgraded to 6 stars. It's deadly at 4, 5 stars, but its true potential shines through when maxed out at 6 stars. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, especially if you're not a fan of machine guns. Personally, I wouldn't choose to use it, but some of its unique functionalities really tempt me to keep using it. It boasts incredible range, but Diana is an essential companion to make the most of it. It can shoot and smoke, but you either need to be at the same level as your target or to utilize Miro. It's a great support tool for your team, although it does have limitations in terms of viewability. I'm particularly impressed with the gun's uniqueness because this is how weapons should differ from one another, just like how the Kilter is distinct from the PTU SMG. Overall, I would rate the gun a 6 out of 10 for its effectiveness, but I truly believe that we all need more time and practice to improve our gameplay. I want to express my love to all of you for watching, and I want to give a big shout out to the channel supporters who have been continuously supporting the channel. Your support is truly appreciated, so thank you. Let's all take inspiration from the XO-300 machine gun and be mobile with our fingers, and then let's also sit it down on the like button. While you're at it, drop a comment and let me know what you think of the gun. Also, please share the video with your clanmates and friends to see if they find it useful. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.